Hello and welcome to Extra Time, the post-match phone-in show. And today we're talking about Newcastle 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Case surprise. Amy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I know you should have put money on. I'm not a betting man or woman, but you should have put money on that scoreline. And I just 1-1 against Newcastle. Tell me something new is all I'm saying.
Do you know, it's out of the last 12 matches against Newcastle, 9 of the games have been 1-1. 8 out of the last 9 have been 1-1. The only exception being that last-minute added time winner by Matt Doherty. And it was 1-1 up until that point. So obviously broke the script. And then the last 5 in a row have been 1-1. You're absolutely right. I should have gone on my ball sports betting app and put 1-1, but I went for 3-0 because I got the last 2 right.
I'm just a bit like about it last night. I know we were on a talk show, but I don't really have that much to say. I just felt it was just when Newcastle scored, I knew it was going to be 1-1. I couldn't see any other result. Like it just felt like, oh, here we go again, 1-1. And yeah, that is all you can kind of say about it, really. I thought, yeah, the C's trap there saying good away point. You can't grumble at a point away, can you? I just hope for something a little bit more after the last few performances.
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually. I'm just going to change the bubble. Vinyl Revival says that's a ridiculous stat.
I mean, it must be like that. That must be a record. I don't know what the record be. 2 teams always on the same score line playing against one another. That must be somewhere within the stats record book, I would think, because it is. When you think about it, it is unbelievable. 8 out of the last 9 games.
1-1 in the last 5 in a row. I know, it's absolutely man. We've got loads of people just starting to join us, saying hello to us. Jamie Howell says thought the first half wasn't great, the second half much better. And he says hello to us as well.
I thought, yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, well, myself and my dad was on Dave's watch along at halftime yesterday for anyone that watched that, and then we said that the first 30 minutes were very, very disappointing. They allowed Newcastle far too much time on the ball. I think within the first 10 minutes, Wolves had 24% possession. And they're just letting them come onto them. They couldn't get the ball out of our half. But then after 30 minutes, when Newcastle had that goal that was offside, I felt like they did come into the game. And I thought Adama's play last night was just absolutely fantastic. It just seemed the link-ups weren't reading the same hymn sheet as Adama was. I think there was one point towards the end of the second half when Neto just completely wasn't on Adama's wavelength, and it was a very fantastic run from Adama, and it just went to waste a bit. And I thought,
was that the bit when it went out?
Yeah, and I think Pedro stopped. I think Adama thought Pedro was going to continue to run on it, and then Pedro stopped, and the ball went out. And
to be honest, I think I like this inverted wingers that he's playing since we've switched it against Southampton in the second half, where he gives the opportunity for Pedro Neto and Adama not just to go on the outside, but gives them the freedom to cut inside.
Yeah,
I think it really makes the defences a little bit more unsure. I've always liked the fact that I like Adama to have the space to run into. He draws fouls,
and I think that's what helped him playing better, because I don't like to say it because he's a fantastic player, but he found out, like, every time you watch him, they're just 3 men on him. They know exactly where he's going to play, pull him over, stop him playing. And Newcastle did that a little bit last night, but I did think he was allowed to do what Adama did well. And for me, I know we'll come on to it, but he was my Wolves man of the match last night for sure.
Well, again, we agree because I've given it to Adama as well. It'll be interesting to see what the callers have to say. We've got a lot of people back in the green room again today. We've got Minnie, Amy and Dad. We've got young Craig. I'm not sure if he's going to give us a tootle on his tuba today because he did promise last time. And then we've got Scott, we've got Statman Speedy and Steve at the moment, and hopefully we're going to be joined by someone from Newcastle Fan TV. What was your rating for the game, Ames?
6.
Performance. You gave it a 6.
Like, it was just a bit of a nondescript game for me, really. I don't think there is much to write home about in terms of Dharma's performance was good, I thought, but overall there wasn't really much to write home about. It was just a good point away from home, but I just don't think there's much between home and away this season anyway. So just say it was a decent point, continued the unbeaten run, haven't lost in February, which if you look back to what we were talking about after the Palace game and it's all doom and gloom, I think it's been a very positive month for Wolves, and I just think the correlation between Johnny Otto coming back and not losing since he's been back in the team is quite a key one.
I think it is, and if you look at the points for February, we've actually, because I don't know, Wolves always seem to have it's either a bad January. We don't like January. It's like
no one likes January. I hate January. I get such bad January blues. So maybe that's vibes runs off on the Wolves. I don't know, but
it was dry January. They took it literally.
No goals, no points.
But we did have 11 points, unbeaten in February, 11 points out of 15. That's a fantastic return, and 34 points. We're only a few points behind. Someone might know, maybe James the stat man will know how many points worse off we are than last season. I think before the game we were about 2, but we're obviously a few more places. I think we're about ready to get our guests on. What do you say, Ames?
Let's go.
Okay, so first up today, let me just change the back screen.
And Dave, everyone that's in, Dave has his timer now, so
that's it.
Come on with the timer.
Yeah, because I've got the Graham Norton chair that goes back. But we've got.
I nearly went on that Graham Norton chair once. That's a story for another day, though.
Oh, you went on it?
I was in the queue. They have so many people, and I was like the next in line to go on it. But that's
that's a story that we want to know more about. Hey, let's bring on Craig, and hopefully he's got his tuba.
I haven't, Dave. Sorry. Morning, Amy. Morning, Dave.
Hello.
I'll let you off. You promised us, Craig.
Last game of the season, I'll play it. How about that? Is that fair?
That's fair enough.
If we beat the Albion, then you've got to play
all beat the Albion, yeah, that's to be a good one as well. Good morning to you, Craig. How are you today?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, really, really good. And I can't believe that you've done a 4-mile run, Amy, this morning. That's not.
Oh, could you hear that?
Oh yes, I heard it all. Never slag us off. We can hear all that pre-show chat. Let me tell you. I'm just frustrated. First of all, great that we didn't lose. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Adama was magnificent last night, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And teams do to us what we don't do to them. I said to you last night, Dave, about we let players run through us, and we just let them go, and we don't foul them, and we should foul them. It's a hard game. Adama has a run. He gets 5 yards. What occurs? He gets fouled every single time. So teams are doing to us what we're not prepared to do to them. They're nastier to us than we are to them. But he was fantastic last night, I thought. The criticism of our number 9 is really unfair. It is so unfair. The service to him is basically diabolical. He's having no chances made for him whatsoever. We made more chances for Silva in the last 10 minutes than we did in the first 80 for Jose, which was so to criticise him is really unfair. He's strong, he works hard for the side, but he's getting no opportunities whatsoever. A couple of stats for you. I don't know what it is about us playing bottom 6 sides, but we've got 12 points out of a possible 27, which is not good enough for a side with the players we've got. We have got real class players. We're a top 6 squad without any doubt at all. So only taking 12 from playing bottom 6 sides, that's just really poor. And for me, it was summed up in the first half where we came out. We seemed to be when we play these lower sides, just that half a yard slower. It's almost as though we've got the thought process. We're a better side than you, so we don't need to be as quick in the tackle. We don't need to be as close to you, and we allow teams to get confidence. We allow teams to come on to us, and we get the problem again where bottom sides seem to like to play against us, and we give them too much space. Our shot to goal ratio is one of the worst in the Premiership. We're taking 8.7 shots per goal, and I think that's the second worst ratio.
Third worst.
Yeah, it is, Amy. And again, last night, Nevers, what a fantastic player Nevers is. But if he gets within goal range, he'll get 1 in 10 shots on target. You've got to make the goalkeeper work, surely. So, that's a frustration for me. I'm delighted that we've got 11 points out of 15. That's a good run of form. See, so we can't come in here and moan, really. The clearance from Saiz was just...
I couldn't believe that.
Love Saiz because I think that's what makes him such a lovable player, because that could have... For Saiz, it's 50-50. He either goes in and be a hero and saves that, or he puts it in, doesn't he? He deflects of Saiz and it goes in. But last night, it was unreal, and he's always there, isn't he? He's missed it. We've said this before. He's Mr. Reliable. He's just that aggressive, fiery player that you like to have at the back, and to play against him, because you don't know what he's going to slip in these moves that he pulls out. Must be interesting for the opposition, but no, he did. I was a bit concerned it was going to go down as handball for a minute. I was thinking, oh God, his arm was in, and they say, if your arm was in a natural position, that's the letter of the law these days. So went off that.
Did you see his face afterwards as well? Because I
don't think he actually realised what he'd done.
And then he was looking round to see where the ball was like that. He just looped over the ball. I mean, I think we've had our fair share of luck in February. Let's face it. We did get lucky.
But we needed the luck to turn. We've said before, you make your own luck, and sometimes you just need a few decisions to go your way. I think first half of the year, quite a few decisions went the opposite way. So it's nice that we've had a bit of luck and turn, and it hopefully swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? So
Rui was again spot on. Semedo, Dave, I heard you say something absolutely spot on last night. Anybody moans about this guy, he's adjusting to a really fast league. He's playing in a side that's going to get attacked more than the last team that he played on. And I'm really, really pleased with him. I think next season he's going to be an absolute star. Neto had a sort of off night last night, but you know what? He's been absolutely brilliant for us. So occasionally he's going to be a bit off the pace. And my shirt today, I need to tell you, Amy, you might be a bit too young. I got spit on with this when we beat Sandwell Town at their place 4-2. Do you remember that day?
Is that the Ewan Roberts?
Roberts hat-trick, Stevie scoring a goal. And I got spit on by a guy that I knew and went to a school with. And he just, because we'd won. What a great day though that was. It was an absolutely brilliant day there. But that's my lot today, guys. I'm just really pleased with us. I think frustrating, yes, but in the right direction.
Good.
One thing, Amy.
Yeah.
Your dad's.
Yeah.
Tell me, is golf at? I mean, that's some golf course.
I will tell you, he's not a golfer, but we've got a house. My granny was from Dunnock, so we've got a house up there.
Okay.
So we've played in the practice holes, but we haven't played on the Royal Dunnock golf course. But I've run across it quite a lot.
That golf course, Amy, Dave, for a round is £270 for one round of golf.
What's your handicap?
I'm a 10, 11.
That's good.
Mine is just my handicap's my general technique, to be honest.
So Dad's
the range.
Dad's a bit of a fake with that hat, because he can't hit a golf. He didn't play golf at all, but he just it's where our family's from.
Okay.
So
I noticed
why.
it straight away, you see. So there you go. Guys.
So what's it, finally, Craig, before you go, what's your rating for the game and your man of the match?
I'm with you, 6 out of 10, and Adama by a mile. He's looking the absolute business for me.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on. And I do have that shirt, but I didn't get spat on at West Brom, which I'm quite pleased about.
I've got to say, Amy is the queen of retro shirts.
Oh,
she's got so many.
It's because I've not grown since I was about 10 years old. So
Amy, you'll have to do a video for the channel with all of your shirts.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it and you can edit it, Dave.
That's fine. I'll do the editing. Craig, just remember you've said live on air that you definitely we beat the Baggies. The Tuba's coming out all the last match of the season. So at some point we're going to hear you have a tootle on the Tuba.
Okay. Bless you.
All right,
lovely. Have a good Sunday. Bye.
See ya.
So that's Craig. And next up we have Minnie, Amy, Ria, and Dad. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we both?
All right, not too bad.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good, thank you. The sun is shining, as I can see it's shining with you as well. So, which is makes the days a lot brighter, doesn't it? So,
no dancing today, Ria.
No, I was no dancing on today. I had to miss last week. I had to do a Zoom class, but we're back today.
Yeah,
back
we're
in business. Yeah.
So now you're back after you've had a bit of a hiatus. How did you find the game last night? What were you pleased about? What weren't you pleased about?
Well, the first 30 minutes, there was no point even playing. We were passive, we were defensive, we was inviting pressure. And when we didn't have the ball, we wasn't hunting it down. A couple of games ago against Southampton in the second half, we were very good and we were threatening, we were attacking. And then we did that against Leeds from the first whistle this time. But now we've gone back to our old self, inviting pressure. So I don't think that was a very good start.
Yeah, it was a waste of 30 minutes of football.
It's like we played an hour.
Yeah, if we played an hour basically, and we drawed 1-1 after playing football for an hour. That first 30 minutes, it was back to again being passive, letting them have the ball, showing them too much respect. When we're out of possession, not being hungry enough to hunt it down. When we have got the ball, playing at a tempo that's way too slow. But then after the first 30 minutes, we improved and we started
into the game.
Yeah,
we did grow into it. I thought you had to take credit for Newcastle though, because in respect, they are desperate for the points.
They had to. I think
they had to come out and show some fight for their fans. And they definitely went, you could see that the first 10, 15 minutes, they were so fired up because, and they came out.
That had to be, you think. And me and Dave texted before the game yesterday and I said, it always makes me nervous when we play teams that are on a bad run. And especially when they are so close to the drop, because especially when they're at home, they've got to come out and play. And they've got, like, if you were in that position and it'd be Wolves, you would have to and expect to see the way that Newcastle played. So, but, we say about Wolves and especially the run that we have been on and the more positive play, it was disappointing to see them allowed to do that as much because they should have been prepared for that, you would expect. But that being said, they did start to play better after the first 30 minutes, significantly.
Oh, yeah. After the first 30 minutes, it was back to a decent performance level again. Yeah. It's just a shame that it took us 30 minutes. That's a large chunk of the game. You're talking a third of the game gone. That's a large period of time. When I talk about the first 10 minutes, Newcastle come at us with a quick start. We're talking about 30 minutes of the game gone, a third of the game wasted. So it's too long a period to allow a team like Newcastle, who, let's face it, have struggled this season.
Yeah, they're just above the relegation zone. They don't want to be sucked in, do they?
Yeah, we need to get hold of the game more and start bossing it and start imprinting our will on the game instead of letting a team like Newcastle dictate things for 30 minutes. So that was disappointing. But then after that, I was pleased with what we showed. After that, we grew into the game. After that, we was more positive in our play. We was winning the ball back quicker and we moved the ball to quicker tempo. So beyond that 30 minutes, for the rest of the game, I was pleased with what we had to offer.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point that you made there. They've got some good players. That Maximus, I did like him.
I was very impressed by him.
Yeah, he was good in Gladiator as well. He was. What is it? Father to a murdered wife. Husband to a murdered wife. Father to a murdered son, and I will have my revenge in this life. I thought he was. He looked good. He looked.
He was taking all our players on. He made it hard for our defence.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though. The trouble that he gave to our team was mainly when he got at Dendoncker. Dendoncker struggled dealing with him. Nelson Semedo, in fairness, did a good job. Yeah. He stood up well against him. He didn't commit himself. He didn't give away silly free kicks, and he won the ball off him a lot of times. So although Semedo caused us trouble in general by generally moving inside the pitch like Traore and Neto have been doing and getting that Dendoncker, when Semedo faced him up in general, I thought Semedo had a good game again and held his own against a really difficult opponent.
Yeah, I thought Semedo was good last night. I was a bit concerned when he went off at the end, but I think it might have just been a bit of a niggle.
Felt something a bit.
Yeah, I think we'll see the best of Semedo next season when he's. I think with
Semedo as well, and I think he was probably bought in mind to play more in the back four formation, which obviously because it's more more possessive play, and obviously we know what's happened. We know the lack of pre-season, and he didn't come into the season and started. So I think, like we've said today, he will, with a pre-season, time on the training ground, I think he'll be a year under his belt. And he'll have the crowd. He's never experienced a Molyneux crowd, which for him, I just think you would hope that would make any player just realise what they're part of. But he's never had that, which is same. I mean, the same for Jose and Silva. Hopefully with that factor, they'll all start to just get even better out of them.
Yeah, because the crowds boost your confidence and get your adrenaline going. It just makes you boost.
We miss the crowd. There's no doubt about that.
The crowd helps the players.
Wolves have been one of the teams that have been more severely affected by the lack of a crowd.
Our crowd's a big part, isn't it,
Martin? Yeah, it is. Playing at Molyneux, and even the away support's fantastic. Yeah. The away support, we always sell out. We travel really well. So I think Wolves have been one of the teams this season who've been affected by the pandemic. More than most teams have, because we rely a lot on the fan support.
Yeah. So, to summarise, who was your man of the matches, and what was your rating?
My man of the match is Traore, because he was taking people on, going on the runs, and I think he did really well.
Yeah, I think most people would say Traore had a very good game. Drawing fouls, had to keep bringing him down and getting yellow cards.
He gets fouled a lot.
He created opportunities for other people as well. He created a really good one for Neto in the first half, and Neto put wide when he should have at least hit the target. But just to be different, because I think most people will say Traore today, everybody I'm asking. I'm going to give it to Semedo because, again, I think
he was very good as well.
That improvement we've seen from him, positive signs. He had a difficult opponent to play up against in Alan St. Maximin.
And he held his defence well and
dealt
stayed
with it
in
well.
shape.
He got forward well. Yeah. The goal came from his run. He travelled with the ball, got it to Neto, and then Neto's cross with Neves' header. So just to be different, I'll give it to Semedo.
You do like to be different, though, don't you? You never agree with Ria, ever.
Nah.
And what was your rating?
My rating is a 6. The first half, the first 30 minutes, we were passive, defensive, inviting pressure. But then, as we've already said, it got better as the game went along. We grew into it. Then we was taking people on, we was more attacking, and we was actually taking some chances.
Yeah, I think that's right. If you discount the first 30 minutes, I think it would have been a 7 or a 7.5. First 30 minutes brings that score down to a 6 or 6.5. So yeah, I'd agree with Ryan.
I'll tell you what, Amy. I've found out a little bit more about this Minnie Amy. Her ultimate aim. You think I don't watch these things because I do. She wants to be Wolves women's captain. She's a little bit of a footballer herself, you know.
Fantastic. Yeah. I don't play football, so you're better than me already.
I'll tell you what, if I ever have a charity football game to raise money, which might happen 2022, I'm going to get you in my squad. Hey, what position do you play?
I play midfielder.
So you basically run the show then, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cover the ground. Good fitness.
Yeah.
Are you a defensive midfielder or are you an attacking midfielder?
I think I'm more defensive.
No. Well, you do defend well. You
I
tackle
defend,
well.
but then I'll go up the pitch as well.
It can travel with the ball well. It can run with it well. So it's a good all-round game. You know, box to
The box midfielder there.
Yeah.
Absolutely fun. And
Fantastic.
are you in the Wolves women program yet? Like have they scouted you yet?
We're waiting for the trials because with the pandemic, there's been none on for ages for the last sort of 12 months. So
we wanted to, haven't we? To try.
I know Liam, right, who's married to the Wolves women captain. I'll make sure that when the trials come up, I'll give a little mention to you both. Okay, well, not to you. Hopefully that's a good opportunity, and hopefully you'll get into the program because she's got some ability and got some ambition, Amy.
That's fantastic. That's what we like to hear.
Guys, thanks for joining us again today. Always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest
See you soon.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
And it's always a pleasure to listen to them too. Such a lovely family. Next up, we've got the Newcastle point of view because we're going to be joined by Carl from Newcastle Fan TV. Good morning, Carl. How are you?
I'm well, mate. How are you?
We're good. Yeah, not too bad. The sun is out. Obviously, we're probably in a lot happier place generally than where you guys are at the moment. What's the general consensus from the Newcastle fans on the result from last night?
I think, surprisingly, a lot of us were kind of disappointed not disappointed because we would have taken a point before the game all day long. You know, even 2 weeks ago, if you'd mentioned we're going to take a point against Wolves, we'd take it. And as you've said, you know, I think in hindsight, we all should have put some money on it because it's almost a guaranteed result between the two of us.
That's what Amy says right at the top of the show.
Ridiculous, isn't it, really? It's just a bit... Was there any point watching that game because we know the end result before it even started?
That's how it felt. But I mean, as all of you guys have mentioned, after the first 30 minutes and the opportunities we had, we were quite disappointed we didn't take 3 points because we should have taken those chances. And I think it would have been a lot more difficult to let you back into the game for the remaining 60 minutes then. But in all honesty, after letting it settle and looking at it this morning, I think a draw was a fair result on the basis of things that went on.
Yeah. What was you going to say, Dave?
I was going to say, well, the first 30 minutes, you were out the blocks really fast.
Yeah.
I thought we grew into it. And I thought, actually, when you scored, we were actually started the second half the stronger, and it kind of came against the run of play, the goal, even not saying that you didn't have chances earlier because you did dominate early on, like I said, the first 30 minutes. But we grew into the game, started to create a few chances towards the end of the first half, and then started in the same vein in the second half, and then bish, bash, bosh. Maximus had 3 players on him, turned him inside, so he's got his head on it, and then it was an early ball in. It was a great header to finish low to the bottom right-hand corner to take the lead 1-0.
Absolutely. I wasn't expecting it, if I'm going to be honest. I thought what usually happens in we'll go in at half-time and we really come out kind of sluggish in the second half, and that seemed like it was the case, and I wasn't expecting that at all. But as you say, it was a great header from Jamal Lascelles. It's just a shame that Almiron had to go off injured to make way for Ryan Fraser. But Ryan Fraser's been our most effective player when it comes to crossing. He's probably played the least amount of minutes, which says a lot about what goes on at Newcastle United. We don't play players in the right position. But there was a lot of positives to take from last night. And I hate sounding like Steve Bruce because no one's a fan of him on Newcastle at the moment. But there are positives. And I think if we continue to play that we have been playing, then I hope that we'll have enough about us to be safe. But yeah, Adama Traore last night was excellent. I think you'll probably agree. Probably needs to work on his final ball. But other than that, he was always dangerous. And him against Kraft was always a worry before the game. I thought Matinho wasn't his usual self. But again, you've got so much more quality than we have. So I was happy to take a point at the end of the day.
And how do you feel about going forward for the rest of the season? Newcastle, are you concerned, or do you think? I personally hope that Newcastle do it and stay up
Brilliant away day, Newcastle.
I haven't been to St James's Park, so it's on my wish list for away grounds. But they're just a team that, for me, have to be in the Premier League. Like, they're such a fantastic football club. So really hope, we're all behind you kind of here on this channel, especially as we don't want Albion to creep in. So, so what are your thoughts on the rest of the season? I think you've got a few quite critical games coming up, haven't you?
Massively, and like I said, we didn't really expect to get a result yesterday, so we're happy with that. Had it gone the other way, I was already really concerned that we're going to get dragged into this because I felt like Fulham were playing the better football than we were. That being said, on paper, we've probably got, like you say, the easier run of games than Fulham have, and we need to have enough about us to get results against West Brom next week, then Villa, then Brighton. Villa's going to be a tough game, as will West Brom, but I really do expect us to be able to take points against West Brom. But I expected us to take points against Sheffield United, and we didn't. So I am worried. I'm not going to lie. I think we're starting to rely on too much of what's going on around us. We need Crystal Palace to do a massive favour for us today. And that's not where I want to be with 12 games left to go in the season. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's always quite dangerous when you feel like you're relying on others, because you can, if you're in control of it, you can kind of control it yourselves. But when you start falling into that trap, it does become, as a fan, very, very nerve-wracking.
Absolutely, it's frustrating, and it's no disrespect to Wolves, because I've always had, being from the Midlands, I've always had, my brother-in-law's a Wolves fan, but you're in the Championship for a long time, and it's happened with Villa as well. You've come out of the Championship, you've progressed so well, and you've done absolute bits. The players you've got in are fantastic players. You've got a fantastic coach in, and hearing you guys talk about Newcastle, not disrespectively, but saying that you should be getting points against teams like Newcastle, which is right, is so frustrating to hear as a Newcastle fan. But that's unfortunately where we're at. So we need everyone to jump on board and support what's there to try and get us over the line. Because whilst Mike Ashley's in, we're not doing anything. Unfortunately, being around the relegation zone, that's where we're at.
God, I do feel for you with that side, with the board and Steve Bruce, Newcastle should be.
Sorry, Amy, go on, finish.
I was just going to say Newcastle should definitely be having better managers than Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce, he's not going to take Newcastle to where they should be, in my opinion. But no. I think quite a lot of Newcastle fans probably agree with that.
Definitely.
I was going to ask you what is the latest, because me, Amy, and all of us Wolves fans, we understand the pain and the suffering. I mean, we went all the way down to League One. In hindsight, that was probably the best thing that happened to us, because it got rid of the deadwood. We basically rebuilt from the bottom up. It was, Jez Moxey, he had a bit of criticism, but he did run a very tight financial ship. And then when the owners came in, Fosun, they did look at a lot of clubs, over 20 clubs, including, I think, Newcastle. And they picked Wolves, and obviously since then they've made a couple of mistakes, but they've got most of it right. And having that ownership that's really got a 10-year plan to build the club, and obviously it's helped with having a few connections with the Mendes stable to be able to persuade the likes of Neves to come and Willy Bolly in the Championship as well. Newcastle, massive, giant club, massive fan base. I think a lot of people can say underachieving for so many years, and it's kind of like, I think you're like punching with one hand behind your back with Mike Ashley. What's the latest with the transfer, with the takeover situation at Newcastle? And how are the fans feeling about it? A lot of frustration, I can imagine.
Social media for Newcastle fans at the moment, especially Twitter, has been an absolute nightmare. People won't admit this, but I think the fan base is so divided, and that's because there's a lot of people out there creating content who are using the takeover as a way to get more followers and things like that, and pretending to be in the know. But in actual fact, nobody knows anything about what's going on. So there's a group called the Newcastle Consortium that was put together. They approached the Premier League, demanding answers essentially, and then they have managed to kind of push some legal battles a lot, not with Mike Ashley, but he's gone in the same sort of direction. So it's arbitration is currently ongoing at the moment, with regards to how it was handled. But for me, mate, if I'm completely honest, I don't know, but I expect that it's dead in the water. Especially with what Biden's come out and said about the involvement from the Saudis, with the murder of the the journalist. I can't remember his name, so I do apologise. But then Amanda Staveley's lost a court case as well, which isn't directly connected. But I think if Newcastle fans are watching this, so I apologise, but I think a lot of them are deluded in thinking that this takeover is going to happen, because it's not. It's not, in my opinion, and we won't know until it does. So, yeah, I think the one thing I want to stop is people saying that they know it's going to happen and teasing fans, because that's just not the case at the moment. I think what you said about Wolves going down, no one wants Newcastle to get relegated, but I really do think that, you know, to push Mike Ashley out the door, an extended stay in the Championship sometimes seems like the only way to get rid of the deadwood, like you say, and really have a reset on the club.
Yeah. Well, carry on, Dave.
I'll tell you what. I know it's painful for you guys. You've been going to have one big guy, you, Brighton, and probably Burnley going to have an eye on the Crystal Palace versus Fulham game today. But the thing that really intrigues me is the last match of the season, Fulham, Newcastle. Fulham, if everything goes well, they could have fans in the stadium. If you're within sort of 3 points because they've got a slightly better goal difference and you're playing Fulham with fans in the stadium, do you think that's fair?
I mean,
Hayden Cottage is quite a quiet ground, though.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, it's a tough one, because you've got to, as much as we can't blame it on the fact that the fans will be in the ground. You know what I mean? Because realistically, we shouldn't be putting ourselves in that position by then anyway. So if we are, I think we've only got ourselves to blame. And if it's Fulham's 12th man that pushes them over the line to keep them in the Premier League, then we've only got ourselves to blame, for me, mate. Yeah, it's worrying because they've got a lot of informed players, and I do believe they're playing better football than us at the moment. I think from what we've heard, Miggy might be out for a while, so that's going to be a massive miss. Maximan will probably be out for a few weeks as well, because he's quite injury prone at the moment. So it's a worry,
isn't he? If you lost all, and then obviously, who's your main striker that's out?
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson,
yeah,
all those forward creative players. There is, I have heard a little bit on the grapevine, because I do have a couple of connections, that not all the Premier League clubs are happy about the last match of the season for all the advantage for all the home teams. There is talk that there might the game before, maybe the last but one game might be pushed back to allow a home and an away advantage to be evened out potentially. That's just hearsay. But
I just think they should just say, for one game at the end of the season, just write it off. Just say fans come back in from the start of the next season, because I do think in important games it could be quite a big factor. Like, you'd be so aggrieved. Like you said, I completely agree you shouldn't be in that situation. But if it was, I don't know, say Albion and Sheffield United, they're both in the bottom. I do think it does play a lot for it. I really do, and especially for us, like supporting very big clubs that have huge home. But like, I've not been to St James's Park, but I can imagine the noise there, and the away fans there are completely away from anyone, aren't they? So you've got complete home advantage, and for like Wolves and stuff as well, it is a fortress, and I do think it's very, very, very unfair. So I just think they should just say, just next season, it's one game, next season, just have all fans, and that's my opinion anyway.
No, I agree with that, to be fair. Like I said, I think I'll probably be in a bit strong, but like, we shouldn't be in that position. But like you say, if it's the last game and that's the only one that's going to have fans and relegation is on the line, then yeah, it's a tough one it will be a bit of a pill to swallow, definitely.
But just watch the space on the game before, because something might happen with that, potentially. Just a little bit of something that I've heard spoken about, that there might be something that happens with that to try and even it out. You can understand where Amy's coming from, because it is an advantage, especially at relegation. There's millions on the line. Just to finish off, Carl, Amy, Newcastle away, fantastic away, went for the weekend, brilliant. The Geordie fans were absolutely fantastic, and the one thing I have to say, you have to be super fit to go, because you're so far up in the gods. You have to, like, you know, you have to be fit to get to to get to your seat. So you will be okay, Amy. Don't worry.
My dad's been to Newcastle away quite a few times. We kept banging on about it when we was watching last night. It's like, oh, we've got to get you there next season, Amy. Newcastle got to stay up so we can get you there. So
if you do have difficulty getting away tickets and you're desperate to go and you want to sit in the home end, I can definitely get you 2 tickets at the front of the Gallagher if you fancy them. You can always borrow my season ticket.
We'll just have to sit on our hands when we score in the last.
Change my accent for the day. I can't do a Geordie accent.
To be fair, it's all right because it's usually me sat there, so you won't be too bad.
So that's fair. Carl, just to finish off with, I'm just going to put you on the spot right now. Do you think right now, right this second, Newcastle will stay up for next season?
No, mate, I don't.
Really?
No, I really don't. I don't. A lot of people disagree. I think it stinks in the McLaren era, and I think we'll go down. And the only reason I say that is because of the 2 injuries that we've got last night, and they're integral to this team.
Yeah. Well, we hope. I think we've come to the conclusion that we're all rooting for you, and we all would like you to stay up.
We've got to stay up because I'm going to go away.
I know, personal reasons only, but no, we're all backing you. I think, like I've said it before, but Newcastle to me are a team that needs to be in the Premier League. So we hope that you can go back, and you can't take Albion's place in those bottom 3, otherwise. That won't happen. That won't happen. They've gone.
You'll beat the Baggies. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think so.
They only win 1 game every 7 weeks, so you'll be okay.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, Carl.
Thank you very much for having me on.
And hopefully we can get you back on for next season when you've stayed up by scoring a 94th minute equaliser away at Fulham in the last match of the season. I could imagine you'd be bouncing around if that happened. Can you imagine?
Absolutely, mate. And it'll be a lot easier for me to do videos with yourselves because it's only 10 minutes up the road rather than driving 3 hours. So yeah.
Nice one. Have a great day, buddy, and thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Fantastic. Always great to try and have opposition fans coming on and talking so candidly. Really top fella, that Carl. Check out their channel, Newcastle Fan TV. It's a really great Newcastle channel, really friendly bunch of people as well. And I've got to say, the Geordie fans are absolutely fantastic.
Oh, Geordies are just fantastic anyway, aren't they? So they're really down to earth people. So hopefully they'll stay up so we can get up there next.
Exactly. Well, we've got coming up, we've got Scott, we've got Speedy the Statman, and then we've got young Steve from the Howlers as well coming on today. So let's bring on young Scott. Let's see what shirt he's got on today. And he's got a Mexico top.
Oh, Mexico. Si, senor.
Yeah, I really like this one, but it's a bit
there's
tight.
a dog. There's a dog there.
Yeah, it's Toby.
Oh, hello, Toby. You okay? Oh, look at him. How are you, Scott?
I'm good, yeah. Bit of a boring game, in my opinion, last night. But still got a point out of it for at a difficult place to go as well. So it's one of them where Man City's probably the one where we might not get nothing out of. So to get a point from Newcastle away, I'll take that.
Scott, me and Dave said this last week, and I am convinced we will. I don't think we'll beat Man City, but I think we will draw against City on Tuesday because we are Man City's bogey team, is what I strongly believe. So,
they are on a winning streak.
I'm going one further. I've already put some money on a Wolves win.
I mean, I think you are going to be tired, but I think they've got to drop points at some way, and I think it's going to be Tuesday. Anyway, I digress.
Well, they're on like a 14-game unbeaten run, ain't they?
20 games. 20 games. They've won 20 games in a row.
Wow. Well, it's going to take something special for us to beat them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's why they're playing Wolves, mate. That's why. That's where we come in.
Well, I remember being at the Etihad when Traore got his double, and if we could repeat,
unbelievable day.
If we could repeat something like that, then I'll be happy days.
And Traore's cousin was sat in front of me, and they was going absolutely mental. It was crazy. What a day!
And both goals were virtually identical.
Carbon copies.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to last night.
The one key ingredient for those goals as well, though, that way. Raul.
The Mexican sensation.
Yeah, I'll be glad when we get him back. Honestly, will, because I felt sorry for Jose. Like, he got a lot of stick last night saying that he hadn't done much. But to be honest, most of the balls that were coming into the area wasn't balls for him. They were just balls trying to get goals, trying to just put it into danger and hope. Nothing was really going for him. But at the same time, when Silva came on, Silva made himself a lot more active than I thought Jose did.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
came closer to scoring as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that in time he'll get that first goal and he'll calm him and hopefully lead to a lot more goals. But Neves again for me was just the guy. Like, Neves dragged us to a point, in my opinion. Like, that guy, especially after he scored as well, he became like a possessed man. Like, I like the fact that he's in the box a lot more now as well.
I mean,
like,
can we just also say something on the Neves thing? Is Neves scored with his head. Neves, like, what the hell? Like,
first time ever.
Stop the clocks. Neves scored with his head.
But no, I've tried. To me, Neves has been, like, this season especially, Neves has been the fighting force in our team to get them going, get them geared up. Something that we see Cody do a lot, but obviously I think we've seen a lot more from Neves in that way.
Yeah.
But last night, Traore was the main guy for me. Traore was, just as Saint Maximin for them was dangerous, Traore was dangerous on behalf of us. And I just wish we could get that type of Traore every game, bit of consistency, and hopefully lead to more goals. But I think he did enough to win man the match. I think that was Neto played well, but I think it was probably one of Neto's more quieter games.
He was a bit off the ball last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think you could say that was the same for quite a few of the lads last night. Newcastle's a tough place to go. When it's full, when it's empty like it was last night, it is a tough place to go. But to come away with a point, I'll take. Because at the end of the day, Newcastle are fighting for their lives down there. So they were more up for that game. You could see straight away from that first half an hour that they were more up for it. And I honestly thought they were going to win, because that St. Maximin, at one point, I think I wrote on Twitter, somebody break his legs. Because there's like literally nobody was stopping him. He was like turning inside out.
If Newcastle does go down, we have been linked with him. I think he would fit into the Wolves system really, really well. You know, Maximus.
He's a good player. He's a really good player. But it's one of them where, like Traore is a problem for the opposition. He's their version of Traore, and it just proved it when we couldn't stop him. And I thought the goal would eventually come from him, and eventually it kind of did, because that first cross that he put in, even though it wasn't met by anybody, did lead to the goal, because I think it was Fraser put it back in, which led to their goal. But yeah, when he went off, it was like a blessing in disguise.
I know. I was like, oh well, that's good for Wolves, because you thought you could see a goal or two coming from him, couldn't you? Yeah. So, but we hope that he's okay, and obviously for Newcastle as well, because it must be, you know what we'd feel like if that was us. So in the moment, it was good for Wolves, but I hope he can get back for their side and help them.
I hope they stay up as well, because Newcastle's a lovely place to go, lovely people, amazing ground, and like Dave said, you're up there with the gods.
You've been Newcastle away?
Yeah, it was the first time I went there. I took my son to his first ever away game, and we did like a pub stop before the game, and they were trying to get him to do Geordie slangs, like, you know, the common Geordie sayings and stuff like that, trying to get my lad to do it, and he was doing it, and the one fan gave him 10 quid. So it was one of them. They were really nice people, really welcoming. And then when we went to the stadium, and it was the game where Doherty scored in the last minute.
Oh my God, amazing.
So it was
that as well, going ballistic. Tell you what, I went for the weekend. Scott went up, walked along the river on the evening, went into a couple of bars and stuff like that. Had a karaoke and stuff. The Geordies were absolutely brilliant. And then went for a nice little, just down the road, there's a Vietnamese street food restaurant. I went in there, and they got little restaurants, got like in a little tuk-tuk, and you have your meal. It was in a little tin, it was brilliant. And then just walked up to the ground. And as I say, the Geordie fans, like you say, and the banter was really good, but they were so friendly. It's a class away day, so class.
I would definitely want to go again if we do get the chance to get back in stadiums. I definitely would love to go back up there again. It's a great place to go. I don't want to keep you because obviously I know you got other people waiting as well. So I'll let you know my man of the match. My man of the match was Traore. I think he did enough to earn that. But second to that, I would probably say Neves. And then for my match rating, I would say 5. And the reason why I give it a low score, the reason why I give it low is because in that first half an hour, you saw the fight that Newcastle gave against us, and we were just non-existent in that first half an hour. And it was something like that we kind of need to put in every game that we play. And it was horrible to watch. It was just horrible to watch that for the first half an hour. If they were a lot in better circumstances or a lot better in strength-wise and scoring-wise, they probably could have got 2 or 3 passes in that first half an hour. And also the fact of, they could have won the game near the end if it weren't for Stace getting in the way.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? And at one stage, I honestly thought they were going to call it back for handball, but when you see it, I think it hit here, right here.
It hit there, his arm was to his side.
Yeah,
then
tucked in.
It was fine.
It was side on when it hit him, so he couldn't, it would have hit his body, basically.
But if Stace didn't have the knowledge to go behind Patricia, you would say that was the golden goal that they got to win the game. So for me, it wasn't the greatest of games. It wasn't the greatest of performance. And if that was a stronger Newcastle side that ain't fighting for the relegation, then it would have gone a different way totally. Oh, Babby's crying.
Oh, well, yeah. Some really good points again, Scott. So thank you for joining us.
And thanks for patiently sitting in the green room for us as well with your green top on.
No worries. I'm going to go and watch Sunday football now and see what happens. Hopefully we'll...
Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me on again, guys.
See you soon.
So you get... What was that, sorry?
I'll show you a few skills when I'm up and running, mate. I'm a good number 10, mate.
I think I need to lose this belly before I start again. So,
all right. Have a great day.
You too, guys. All the best.
Bye-bye.
So just 2 callers left now. Next up is Statman Speedy, followed by the young man Steve. Hello, Speedy. Let's get you on more. So your head's just poking above there at the moment. Let's
push your thing down a bit.
Is that better?
Yeah.
A little bit better, yeah.
Oh, sorry, the iPad's playing up again.
No worries. How are you?
Well, the guest isn't here yet, so I'm a bit stressed. Not at you lot.
Oh, I forgot about this guest. This special surprise. We were having a surprise, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, can I let you into the surprise, or do you want him to come on another night or another game? It's your decision. You're the bosses.
Don't mind.
I don't really know what you mean. Is it some celebrity you've got coming on or something? It's not new, is it?
Oh, I'd love him, mate. My mum fancies him, so yeah, my mum. It'd be a good treat for me, my mum. No, basically, I'll tell you. But I know you said not last week because you went no. So I'll tell you. So basically, we're having an extra addition to the Speedy household. We've got a dog coming today called Cody. That's what.
I thought it was going to be a dog because I know that you lost your dog recently. So I thought it might be a dog as a surprise. Cody, what a fantastic name.
I love it.
Basically, it's a Pommer so it's a poodle with a Pomeranian, but apparently he's clever, intelligent, placid, calming, and he's a lovely dog, and he's coming today at 2:00. So and
he's going to know all the stats as well.
Yeah, he does. I'm going to teach him to learn his own name because he's quite clever, like intelligent. So that'd be good.
Well, yes, we look forward to meeting Cody next time. If he's not coming till 2, we won't.
Where are you getting him from?
Say that again. Sorry, Dave.
Where are you getting him from?
Warsaw. I know. Sorry to mention that. Sorry, that's a swear word on here.
No, Warsaw. No, it's not. Warsaw's fine.
Oh, okay,
who Warsaw?
You'll scrap around that.
Fantastic. Well, that's such exciting news.
It is. I just need to calm. Well, I'm excited, but obviously a bit nervous. But I'm all right.
So
you've had a dog before, haven't you? So it'll be great.
It'll be all right. It just takes a bit of. I don't like change. You obviously know about my autism, so you know what I mean. It's just a bit of adjusting to it, but I'll be all right. I'll adjust to it. I'll be okay.
Fantastic.
Thank
So
you very much.
what have you got? You usually have something prepared for us, don't you? So what have you got for us today?
So thank you for letting me on the show. Mum is better, Dave. Thank you for your love and wishes. Mum did watch you, Dave, but she was watching as best as she could. Anyway, so the game was 1-1. Shots 19 to Newcastle. Oh, I'm looking at the camera. Great. Shots for Wolves 14. On target was 7. On target for Newcastle was 7. Target for Wolves was 4. 3 corners for Newcastle, 5 for Wolves. Offside, Newcastle caught off twice. Offside for Wolves, 0. Yellow cards, 2 for Newcastle, none for Wolves. Red cards, no one got sent off. Here's the passing stat. So 387 for Newcastle and 423 for Wolves, which was good. Passing accuracy, Amy, I know you like this stat as well as myself. 83% for Newcastle, and Wolves have actually gone up because the last game they played against. Oh, it was the last game.
Leeds.
Oh no, Leeds. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you. It was 75, and yesterday was 80%, so they went up, which was good. Possession, Wolves had a majority of it, 5% more, so 53% to Newcastle's 48%. And they're the stats.
Thank you for those. It's always good to have a bit of an overview. I think I'm quite surprised by the passing because I thought the passing was awful in some parts. So they obviously got better. I think that was probably the second half because the first 30 minutes, the passes were all over the place. So that's good to see that's improving anyway, which is good. So that's fantastic.
It is.
You do researching, Speedy.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You're welcome.
Dave, sorry to be weird. What's your surname? Because me and my mum want to know. Because we keep calling you Dazzling Dave. Is that okay? Or is that a bit weird?
My surname's Dave. I'll tell you off later. It's my first name's Dazzling. My legal name is Dazzling Dave.
You told me. What do you mean? You told me off? Oh, you told me later.
Yeah.
Me.
Not on air.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, sir. No worries. Sorry, fouls. Newcastle 11, Wolverhampton Wanderers 13. Oh yeah, and your fact you wanted, Dave, as you call me Statman Speedy. They are 2 points from worst off from last season. I've got additional notes and I've got a few more points, but you're the bosses, so you can question me like a policeman. What? I'm not going to try.
You make me laugh, mate. You do. You're ace. We love you.
I mean, you can say if you want to end with the extra stats and thoughts, then go ahead, take to the stage.
Thank you. I'll be like Freddie Mercury, and I'll be a showman. So guest is at arrive until 2, which I've mentioned. Adama was my man of the match. He looked he was brilliant. First half rated was a 5. My mum did agree. Well, tried to agree, even though she was ill. I think if the crowds were there, Wolves would have won the game. So 9 out of the 12 games, you like this fact, Dave, Wolves have drawn, it's been a draw, 1-1. Amy, for yourself, my mum couldn't stop laughing at your dad's story. She couldn't stop laughing. And also, Dave, for your charity match, could I do the stats or could I have some involvement? And as I think it's a good...
if we get it off the ground, which will hopefully be 2022, then of course, mate. We'll get you on and you'll be the official stat man for the game.
Yes. I love that. Like Dazzling Dave in the box. Go! Like that, yeah.
Fantastic.
I can say how many touches you've had in the opposition's box. You'll like that.
That'd be great. It'd be good to have you on board for that. For sure.
Yeah, I'm going to get Amy playing as well, don't you worry.
Yeah. I can
I'm going to put, because she's fast, I'm going to get her on the wing, I think.
I won't be able to pitch the ball, but I can just run at everyone.
Dave, you would be Daniel Pedence because no, I'm not saying you're small. Well, you are a little bit, but you're like one of them Hazard players. Like you're good at turning. Sorry, I didn't mean sound effects, so I apologise if it does. You're like one of them Hazard, and then you get in the spaces, which is good. And Amy, you would be because you're quite quick. I'd say Neto. So
okay, I'll take Neto. That's fine.
I'll take Daniel Pedence. Although I'm a little bit taller, I am taller. But if I've got his skill and I'm a bit like a Hazard, I'll take that, mate. I like that. I think that's where I'm about. You got me about right, and I think we've got Amy about right as well because she will get her head down and just run at the players and then she'll get this clinical delivery into the box, and will probably not be quick enough to get up there to head it in, but she'll get the ball in the box.
Sorry,
I can try my best.
The description was good. The little hazard into the key spaces, and there's there's me.
Well, thanks for coming on, and I hope the dog arrival goes well.
And we'll see Cody on the next one.
You will do, and thank you for, as always.
No worries, thank you.
I'm glad your mum's feeling better. Send our love and best wishes from me and Amy to your mum.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she's all right. She's a warrior. She's just tired from this pandemic like most of us, but hopefully we'll get back to normal on June the 21st. Oh, yeah, just quickly, what's the one thing you're looking forward to? Piers Morgan asked us on Good Morning Britain. What's the one thing you're looking forward to when we can get back to normal life?
James, I don't know if you've actually heard the news, but on Twitter it was said that me and Amy should be the new Good Morning Britain.
Really? Oh, what could I be? Actually, no, you be Prime Minister.
We'll get you as the weatherman.
Oh, yeah, I'll be good one. I'll be like, there's clouds here today, but we're going to have a sunny breeze like that, yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
As the week goes on, we're going to have sunny breezes. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll contact Piers Morgan. I'm joking.
Okay.
Take care, James.
See you soon.
Legends,
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Such a lovely lad, James. Tuber Wolves Craig, who was on earlier, Speedy Legend, love the call, great stats. That's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And we've got to say, he's waited patiently in the green room. He was last to join the thing. He's so sorry about that, but he's here. And he is from the Howlers, the Wolfpack Howlers, our good friend of the channel, Steve. How you doing, mate? Thanks for waiting.
Good morning, Britain. How you doing?
Good morning.
I'll tell you what, we'll get our agents onto that because I think we could do a decent job, but we probably get rid of Piers Morgan off the show. Probably.
What a legend, mate. What a legend, Steve. Fantastic. I'll come on to talk about the game last night, and it's a little bit again frustration because we knew what the score was going to be at the start of the game, but I do think that our tactics have got to change for these lower teams. Newcastle are a massive club, but where they are, we realistically are, a top half team, aren't we? We should be, out looking to dominate possession, close players down, especially at the start of games. I don't know why we have this need to invite pressure at the start of games. It's just a bit frustrating. I think we've lost our fear factor as well. We might frustrate you, but we're never going to outplay you. The Wolves team, and it's just very frustrating. I think it could have been 3-0 to Newcastle, couldn't it?
Yeah,
in that first
quite
half
easily.
And we would have been talking about a disastrous performance, wouldn't we? But it's their mistakes it's their not finishing that's caused that. That's not us. It's hard to take, really. It's hard to watch. We should be doing a lot better than what we actually are. So
yeah, I did feel like it was. I do agree with you in parts last night. It was a very hard watch, and it was just. I think it was just a bit bland. It was a bit boring. There wasn't anything really. There was parts of elements that were good of it, but in terms of like a whole game in itself, it was. If you were a neutral, you'd have turned off quite quickly. I think.
Absolutely. Right. Not even one mention on Match of the Day last night was there about us.
No, it's Match of the Day. I mean, I got back and I was with my parents and I put Match of the Day on Wolves and I fell asleep. So that just sums it up, really, doesn't it?
Oh, that's it. There were some spots of genius control. I went on some great runs, but again, it's just that frustrating final pass that didn't quite make it. The one that was very frustrating was the one with Neto on the right wing, and I think you're saying that Neto stopped. I think Trail just did a bad pass myself. I think it was just one of those games where it just wasn't quite working out.
Yeah, it just didn't work out, did it? But I think we're all a bit placid by it. I think placid is probably the correct word for it, isn't it? Yeah, no one's really got much to say. We've had a good run. If we'd have been talking about that performance after like the end of January and Crystal Palace, I think everyone would have been a bit more frustrated. But I think because that performance has come off of a very good run and a very good accumulation of points on the board, everyone is a bit more forgiving about it, which comes when you've got a run together, doesn't it? And fair play to them because I have played some very good football over the last few weeks. So we are in a very different position.
Big shout out to Safe last night. I thought Safe was played really, really well. I thought his distribution to the wings was fantastic. He set up a lot of good chances for us today. So he was my man of the match last night.
Oh, that's quite good.
Yeah, it's nice to have a bit of defense as well.
Because
I think he did play really well, and he's come in and he plays. He just knows that system now, and you say it's a thrown together defense, but we did see that defense quite a lot last season as well. So they are used to playing alongside each other in that back three formation, and I do think it works. I really do. So no, it was good to see that, and I think just on to City. So what are your thoughts for City on Tuesday?
Again, well, it's a good team, and so I think we play better against better teams, don't we? But I think City this year do look a phenomenal team, don't they? I think we're going to do well to get a draw, but I can see us getting beat, if I'm honest. But that Gundogan is one of my favourite players in the league this season. He's been amazing. And the last game they played, both the central defenders scored, didn't they? So they can get goals from absolutely anywhere, can't they? So
I have a question.
We're in a bit of trouble next game.
I have a question I want to ask you about. We've not touched on this really yet, and I'll be interested to see your take. And I'll tell you the reason for why. Fabio Silva came on for 10 minutes. William Jose on for 80 minutes. Two things I want to talk about is the contribution of both players, and also at the end, I thought Fabio did I personally thought Fabio did really well to get on the end and get a shot on target. But a couple of people in the chat disagreed on the watch along and says that he should have buried it. My view was I thought he did really well to actually get it on target, and the keeper, they say he hit it right at the keeper. What are your thoughts on William Jose's contribution? This is to both of you, and also Fabio, and that shot at the end. Do you think he should have scored, or do you think it was just a really good save from the keeper in the end?
I think it was a very good save, is my opinion.
I agree. I think it looked like the defender was going to get it before Silva, didn't it? And I think Silva was quite surprised that he actually got to it, really. And it was a last-ditch kind of get your head to it kind of thing. And your keeper made a fantastic save. But he got in the right position, didn't he? That's the thing about Silva. He's getting in those positions. And it is a question of time for me with him. I think he's going to be scoring a lot of goals for us. I really do believe that, especially next season. I think that's going to be his season. When it comes to... got his name, sorry.
Jose.
Jose, he just like trying to hold the ball up, but again, all our play comes from the wings, doesn't it? You see, and I always say this, but my biggest peeve being a Wolves fan is the ball's not being played through the middle. I think that's what he wants. That's the service he wants. And he's just getting the odd cross here and there, and it just doesn't happen to be in the right place at the right time. So I feel quite sorry for him, but he does hold the ball up quite well, and he does start play off, but he doesn't tend to be there in the box at the right time. Jose for me, for me, I prefer Silva, but I think he needs to work a little bit more on his finishing, and I think he'll be a good player next season. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he probably feels more confident coming on for like 10, 15 minutes towards the end of the game, because that was obviously, like, we all know kind of the plan. And I do hope Jose that he finds his way into the team, because I think he does have good hold up plays, strong in, you can see the strength of him. So hopefully, I mean, he's come, like Semedo, he's come from La Liga, and it's a very difficult league to change to. So hopefully a few more games. He's only played like 6 games, I think, or something. So it's not many to fit back into the team. And fortunately for him now, they've got the run of results together. So people aren't on his back about him not scoring goals, as people were on Silva's back for not scoring goals when we went through a bit of a dodgy patch.
And interesting as well, the Neves goal, which was, I mean, the ball was on that header that he got in, but Jose made a run to the near post, which drew a defender away. That's and right. Neves managed to he did make that run, which opened up the space. So
that's right.
I feel for him a little bit, because he does give a presence up there, and he has helped. And there's a couple of times when he's been running through. I mean, look at the Leeds game when Neto just had to pass the ball across. It would have been a tap-in for him, and he didn't. Neto, that's probably part of the game that Nuno will try and improve. I didn't think Neto had his best game yesterday, but he still got an assist. for the goal. Still created something.
Great cross, wasn't it?
Fabio, when he came on, he like I think like what Amy says, he seems like, I don't know, like he's re-energized. He comes on late, and it's like the pressure's off him now. And I thought he did quite well. And for Jose, he wants to move to the Premier League. It's a £17 million. He's got to start scoring at some point. And I don't know. I think the jury's still out on him at the moment. I think he needs that goal. I mean, right now,
another day, you can play well, you can hold the ball up, you can do all these little fancy runs and whatever, but another day you're a striker. And what's your main job? Your main job is to put the ball in the back of the net. And if they're not doing that, it's hard to justify that price tag at the moment. So, but I'm hoping it comes good. They need more service, really. I mean, Jose especially needs more service. He's not getting those clear-cut chances. It's not like he's having the chances and missing them. He's just not getting the service, is he? Not getting the chances. So,
yeah.
That's something else we need to work on as well.
Absolutely. So, finally, who is your man of the match and your rating, Steve?
I'll give it a 6. I thought the first half was dire, but we got towards the end. It was looking quite exciting, but just running out of time. Stice or Traore. Traore was frustrating because he was so good, but his passing wasn't very good. But so I'll give it Stice.
Lovely. We've had a few for Stice. I think it's basically been Traore Stice for everyone. So, but that block, I mean, he saved the game for us at the end of the day,
absolutely,
didn't he?
Great block.
So,
was it a save or was it a block? I can't work it out.
I don't know.
It was a block. It hit Saiz. Literally, he was running back to get on the line like a good defender should, and he had his kind of like, he didn't even see the shot come in. It beat Patricio.
I think Patricio got like fingertips to it, and then it went over, and then I think I feel like he did something with it, and then but it was going in, it was still going in, and then Safe just went like that, and it ricocheted off him.
Yeah, and he just moved up over the bar because he was looking around like this, and then it went out. Fantastic. But thanks for waiting in the green room today.
No problem at all.
It's been a great show, and it's good to have you finish off. And best wishes to you and all at the Howlers, mate. And hopefully see you on the City match.
Hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, will do. Okay, nice to see you.
Have a good day. See you later.
See you later.
Take care, mate. So great show again today. Let me just change the so we look all nice on the screen. Some great points from everyone. Quite chilled out, a lot calmer, less panicky. It was interesting to hear from the Newcastle guy as well, wasn't it?
No, yeah, it's good to get the other fans on. It makes it a bit more balanced, I think, and fair play to other fans coming on a Wolves channel. So.
No, that's been good. And you're still sticking there, like we said. So I think you went with Adama and a 6 out of 10. I've gone with an Adama. I went with a 7 out of 10. A couple of people went with a 5, which I thought was probably a little harsh. I thought I gave the first half on the around about a 6, and I thought the second half was probably 7.5 to an 8 because I thought we did better. That's why I went with a 7 in the end. And your thoughts to finish off, Amy? Man City.
I've said it. We're going to draw against City. I'm going to draw. I'm not saying what the result's going to be, but I think we will draw against City, which is as close as a score prediction you're ever going to get.
From you. And do you think he'll, all being well, go with the same team pretty much?
Yeah, I can't see him changing it. It seems to be working at the moment. I think it'd be really nice for Jose to get off the blocks, especially against City. I think that would do him a world of confidence. But, you know, it's going to be hard against City because they are just phenomenal at the moment. I think it will definitely be, we'll probably only have about 20% possession, especially at their place, but I'm fine with that. I think against 2-0, the away game that we alluded to earlier, at the Etihad last year, I think they only had about 25% possession, but they got the winner. So I think I'm happy for that to happen against City.
Yeah, you know, someone's got to stop them at some point. So why can't it be Wolves? We do tend to have a little bit of the sign over them at times in recent years. You know, I mean,
we did the double over them last year, and I think
the trophy.
Yeah,
as well.
first ever Premier League game that Wolves won was against City in 2003. So that's a fun fact for you. Colin Cameron scored 1-0.
Crikey!
So I'm quite confident against City. We'll probably be sat here and we'll have lost 4-0 and it'll have all been. But anyway, I'm confident.
I'm confident. I'm going for a 2-1. Smokey Draven's just asked about Bolly. I think he's about 4 weeks away. Chaotic Ranger says City is a free hit, expected to lose. Anything more would be a great result. Exactly. Patrick Moran, great show, Dave and Amy. Keep up the good work. Love the content. I will believe we'll be fine against City, I believe. So, absolutely. So thanks to everyone who's joined us as guests today. Thanks for Carl from Newcastle Fan TV and everyone that's joined us in the chat. And, of course, my lovely co-host, Ames. The Blossom's not made an appearance today.
Oh, she's asleep.
She's having a rest, so that's fair enough. So from myself, Dazzling Dave, and from Amy.
Bye.
Always Wolves.
Always Wolves.